So I applied filter. I will select all. Yes, let me. So this, yesterday we could see that 4 people did yesterday. Dr. Shiv Prasad, Hari Prasad, Shraddha, Saurabh. And then if I scroll down, I can see, actually net is slow. That's why there is an issue of buffering. My screen is going down, but it is not showing the same. Actually, there is a program here at our institute. Because of that, like probably the net connectivity is low. Is it visible? Visible. Okay. So you can see like the Prashant has done this. Khan, study by Khan, done by Khan 2012. Rajesh Shekhar has done. Then Ravindran has done. Then Dr. Mohit has done. Paramita. Then Dr. Pillai, Tapobrata, Dr. Pradeep, Sally, Saurabh, Nitin. I think total of, if I see the number, 22 people have extracted the data. So that's good. We are not going to see the detail of each and every one, but at least you people could do the data extraction. And if I see a lot of things got populated here, maybe the placebo number, age, the intervention. So if I compare two, because we discussed yesterday that at least there should be 2 reviewers who should be doing the same study. Extracting the data. So I'll see according to the study ID. Let's see, I think 2 people have done. Datta, the 2 people have done. So I will select this, Datta, and then press OK. So you can see like Dr. Rajasekhar and Dr. Pillai, they both have done the Datta by 2011. So the country is like, it is, one person has written Kolkata, India, the other India. So you can club together. Study design is randomized control trial. Sample size, here he has written like 178 placebo and maybe some number in the probiotics, 70. Whereas here, I think he has clubbed both together. Hospital setting, that is okay. Again, study duration, I think he has written here 5 days and here 2 years. So probably 2 years, this 5 days would be the outcome assessment. So that's why the duration of study will be of 2 years. I think there's a freezer. You can see. No, that's okay. And then the age group, 6 to 24 months, that is okay. Here, gender, he has written not applicable. Whereas here, it is writing 182 boys. So again, you need to go and check whether it was not applicable or boys. Again, inclusion criteria, age between. Is my screen visible to all of you? Can someone confirm regarding the audio and video?
Yes, ma'am. You are visible and you're clear.
Thank you. Then you can see here age between 1 to 2 years, inclusion criteria. Here, the other person is writing dehydrating acute watery diarrhea. So you can see inclusion criteria, the mismatch between the inclusion criteria. So he has thought that it is the age, whereas he is thinking, the other person is thinking it in the form of a condition. Exclusion criteria, chronic condition. Here he has mentioned any exclusion criteria, like episode of diarrhea exclusively, breastfed, severe dehydration. So you can club these together. That's why there is an importance of 2 people extracting the data. And then baseline characteristics, you can see. So here he has mentioned like study group and control group, age, body weight, height. Here also, I think he has mentioned same thing. Intervention type, tablet containing. This is the tablet containing 60 million spores dissolved in water. 78 children had received L. sporogenous manufactured instruction. Control was placebo. Here control, he has mentioned the baseline characteristics of control. Compliance followed strictly. Patients were discharged. Here he is writing from hospital, and they were defined as the passage of soft stool. Again, outcome, this is important for us. If you see the outcome, one person has written like p-value percentage reduction, cure, duration, stool output frequency, ORS. So probably he has written all the outcome. You can define like primary outcome and secondary outcome. And again, yes, that's okay. You have written, and because if you write more, there is no issue. You can extract data. But if you write less, you need to again go back to that individual study and see. So it's preferable that you may write initially a lot of data, which later you can give it as a supplementary file. We also did like we hid many of these columns because if you publish it in the journal, they will say that it is very huge. So they ask for a like important variable to be put in the main data extraction sheet, and the rest they ask us to put as a supplementary. So as a supplementary file, you can give extended with the extended columns also. And then the measurement method was measured by the collection of pre-weighted uh, diarrhea wipes. Here also the patient was weighed after correct amount of fluid intake. Randomization, he has written computer generated, and this person has written children were allocated to study. So you can see there is a little mismatch between what the other. It's not mismatch the way you have thought of. It is a single blind. It is the random number table. Sample size considered. Unable to understand other biases. Here it is not applicable. Conclusion, limitations, and conflict of interest. He's writing the funding declaration ICMR, whereas he's writing not declared. So again, since these are the responses of a single study, which is Datta, and similar mismatch you might find, like when me and Dr. Shamshad did the data extraction, I missed something and he missed something. So when we compiled these two together, it was overall comprehensive. Then again, we checked. So that shows the importance of two reviewer for title abstract, at least two reviewer for the data extraction method. So this was one activity which I think most of you have done it. Coming to another, this thing that was the quality appraisal. So if you see the quality appraisal, how many people have done it? Like Shraddha, Prashant, Devashish. 16 people have done it. And I hope this is the same study, which you people, same study, the data extraction and the risk of bias. There were few columns of risk of bias in the data extraction sheet also. Here also you will see that we had put this randomization this much, like loss to follow blinding randomization method. Again, it can be considered separately as a quality appraisal. So was true randomization. So many of you have written like yes, yes, or unclear. So let's say I will take the example of Datta or Daljit. Okay, 3 people have done Daljit. So I can again apply filter and see. So clear. Daljit 2011. 2011. And then, okay. So, Dr. Debashish, Dr. Manisha and Dr. Hari Prasad have done on the Dalgic. My bandwidth is still low. So, was true randomization used? So, all 3 of you have written yes. Was allocation to treatment group concealed? One person has written yes, other person has written unclear, one person has written no. Then you need to see this also. So there is there needs to be consensus building with this allocation concealment. Then comes your treatment group, whether it was similar at the baseline. So all three of you have said yes. Again, participant blind to the treatment assignment. One person has written no, other two yes. Here again, no, no, no. All three no. Again, in this domain where the treatment groups treated identically, no, unclear, and yes. Again, whether outcome assessor blind to treatment, unclear, no, no. So that is okay. Unclear, no, no. But there is a problem when there is a yes and no or unclear. Then you need to resolve this. And then comes your where outcome measured in the same way, yes. Outcome measured reliable way, yes. And then I guess it's yes. Participants analyzed, yes to all, and comments. So these three domains where there is a yes and no and unclear, like where the treatment groups treated identically in this domain and then in this domain, where participants blind to treatment assignment, where there is a yes and no. And then there was another, which was like allocation concealment. So these three, and you will receive similar kind of response because here you guys are doing, but for your study, you will send all these studies to different set of investigators who are trained probably and who are might be like we sent it to our residents and they did it. So two of our residents, and they actually takes time. So you have to give like, because if the number of studies at least let's say 25 or 21, so at least every day they will do one study. Still it is expected that you should give them at least 6 weeks time. So these things also takes time. So that's why I said that the flow of systematic review and meta-analysis which you have seen, there will always be a time when more than one activity is going parallelly, because you are doing the data extraction and you have sent the forms for the quality appraisal or for assessment of risk of bias. By the time you will receive that, because again, that quality appraisal or risk of bias we have studied yesterday, that even if the quality is low, you don't exclude the article. You have to synthesize the data qualitatively. That's why the result of the risk of bias doesn't affect the data extraction. You have to extract the data. So these two activity might run, and what we did, we ran these two activity parallelly. Similarly, you can also do that. Again, like I said, there was one, I think Arshad was telling yesterday that, yes, of course, it is a tiring job. So again, yeah, we accept that it is a tiring job. But when only 1 or 2% is doing, when you have got a team and you can divide the work, and the very important is you should give the authorship to the people who are like, if you are getting some work done or in your this thing for screening or for risk of bias assessment, definitely if you give them the authorship, generally people agree to participate. And they should be like similar minded people. You should identify, and by this time you know who can be your teammates, depending on the similar nature, similar zeal of work, and sincerity and honesty towards research. So these traits, at the moment wherever you are, you know in your specialty. And the beautiful thing about this systematic review and meta-analysis is it is not necessary that they should be from the same institute. You guys can work across the country, and if you can liaison with someone who is outside the country, that is also okay. There's no issue. So that should be the aim. The first aim of this meta-analysis. Systematic review and meta-analysis, train them, because you don't know that, you're not sure like everybody is on the same page or not. So before you start, you should brush up your concepts, how you're going to do that, and then you may. So these two was regarding the risk of bias and the data extraction. I'll show you the data extraction sheet, which. So this was the data extraction sheet which we did. And let's say if I see the dattas. So this was the datta. Yes, we have written both like 148. In the bracket, we have divided like 78 and 70. Hospital based, again, here I am writing 5 days, 6 to 24 months, boys only, inclusion and exclusion criteria, type and dose. So here we have like categorized it in type, dose and duration. Then again, placebo was there, identical in size, shape and color. They monitored adherence, no major issue. I'm just showing you the data since we have discussed that. They have seen the stool output, stool frequency and ORS intake. And how the outcome was measured. There was a daily measurement using intake and output chart, pre-weigh diapers, and rectal stool sample. And then block randomization and the this double-blind study, it was performed. Then you can see the heading is not there, but if you other bias is not reported, I should have freeze the upper column. This was not the data. Yes. Then monitored adherence, stool output, daily intake. This was regarding the randomization. So they did block randomization, double-blinded study. They did not report other biases, and this was the primary and secondary outcome. So you can see we have divided this into the primary and secondary outcome. And again, it will depend on the protocol which we have formulated. Because in protocol, we have identified what will be our primary outcome and what will be our secondary outcome. And based on that, you can have your data extraction. And then there was a small sample size for rotavirus group, no significant effect of lactobacillus. This was the overall result which they have shown. And funding and this thing they have not. This is funded by the ICMR. So yes, that one person has said that funding they have mentioned regarding the funding. So after this, now we'll go to the another session which we could not do yesterday. That was regarding the how to report your result. So reporting of the table we have shown, like how the data extraction sheet will look like. But synthesis of result. So we'll see this. Okay, so standard, yeah, we will share the standard fill data sheet extraction form. What we have done, Dr. We will share that. We were only waiting for you people to fill that. But since you people have done that activity, we'll share the sheet with you. Now coming to this synthesis of result. So on day 1, we defined the research question based on PICO or PICOTS. Okay, Dr. Pradeep is saying I am not audible. Okay. Oh, what can you check? Can someone else check regarding the okay?
You're
Okay.
audible.
You're audible, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Maybe there will be a connectivity issue at your level, Dr. Pradeep. You can check. And Dr. Soptik is asking extract survival data. So that we'll discuss. Survival again you have to do because the effect measure is the effect size, which is the hazards ratio. So we'll discuss that tomorrow because today we have kept the meta-analysis because meta-analysis can be based on effect sizes. It can be a proportion, it can be a difference in mean, it can be a 2/2 table, which is odds ratio, it can be correlation, it can be hazards ratio, odds ratio, anything. So either what you can do, you can convert everything into effect size and do the meta-analysis. So these detailed about the effect size, we'll discuss tomorrow. Today we are going to keep it very simple based on the mean difference because maximum RCT, if you are doing it, they give the mean difference of the outcome or proportion or the 2/2 table, the odds ratio where they have given the number. Like in this case, you will see how many of them had the stool, even at the day 3 and the stool frequency. So they categorize the variable. So today we'll do those two activities. Tomorrow we will try to take the session on the effect size. And there we will talk about the, these hazards ratio and survival data. So here you can see that I was talking about the day one activity. So we started with the making a protocol, identifying our research or review question, identifying the elements of PICOTs. For that also you need a thorough literature review. Then only you can identify regarding who will be the population, what will be the intervention. Since there will be a diverse study, so you need to define like all probiotic strain which you are going to take. And then the comparison group, whether you are taking the placebo or the standard therapy like ORS, and then you will see the outcome, the primary main outcome and the secondary outcome. So you will identify your research question, you will elaborate on your PICOTs, and from PICOTs you will identify key concept, you will identify keywords from the all database, then you start searching the various databases using the truncation method, using the Boolean operator, proximity operator, and wildcards. And then if you don't have access to database, you can go ahead with PubMed, and you can include the gray literature also. Gray literature like Google Scholar, Google, first 200 or first 100, whatever you do, you have to mention that. And whether you have searched for any thesis database like ProQuest or India Shodh Ganga, or you can see like there is an open gray, there is a clinical trial registries. And then again, we have learned that books and magazines, they are not a source of gray literature. So gray is something which is not into this publishing. Not the primary activities, not the publishing or the government reports also you can see. So you can include these two, and then you can go ahead. And these days we are seeing many people, they are taking the doing the meta-analysis only on Indian studies. So of late, we were seeing that just to restrict yourself, if you want to do this activity as a research experience, then if you want to limit the number of study, you can select the studies only from India, and then you can pool the result. We were seeing few, especially in the clinical side, that because the, just to anticipate less of heterogeneity, you can do that. Regional, like India or probably Southeast Asian region, you can restrict your search. And then again, you can run the search in the database and export the file format, NBIB in case of PubMed, and RIS file format for other databases. For gray literature, you have to do the screening then and there, and then see how many you have screened. Keep a log of all the number of articles, including the backward citation and the forward citation. That is again a source of gray literature, which we have seen in the Prisma. And then after that, you see the full articles. You screen the full articles, but if you are not including a full article, that reasons should be mentioned because you need to report it in Prisma. And then screen the full articles for eligibility. Extract data the way you have done yesterday. Get the quality appraisal or risk of bias by another two set of people, and then you synthesize the result. So now coming to this, how to report it. So if you see the literature, there are people who have given it, there's a diversity of reporting. No one has given it like a standard format how to report. But if you see Cochrane, they generally give the overall, like we give. So they think, they take individual study as one individual, the way we do it in original research. So how do we do the original research? Generally, we write like 30% of the people were men, 70% women, the mean was this and that something of that was like that. Similarly, we will see how to report the result. So currently we are doing the qualitative synthesis. So for that, there is a new analogy. So if you have to shop for a smartphone, how do you do it? So if you go and just see on Amazon or any Flipkart or any app, if I have to buy this Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 5G with no cost, that is a like extra this thing that additional exchange offers. And I'm getting this in 1,19,999. So if I've just seen this, now we all know what we do next. So we see the reviews. So we start seeing the review. So the first you will see that, 5-star. So they are saying that design is a big, this thing, it is very helpful. The second one is saying, this person is saying that this is an incredible experience. Another person is saying best flagship, better than Apple. So if again, this is a qualitative synthesis. So we do a qualitative synthesis from the available review. And if I have read this and somebody is writing is it is better than Apple 14 Pro in all aspects. So how my brain will start thinking. So I will think, oh, this is, I got a very good review. So I should go and purchase it. But then again, uh, what should I do? Then I should go and read some more reviews. So what will I do? I will go again and I can see that one person has given it 1 star. And he is saying that it is, it is not very good. And just in 1 year, it's gone. The other person has also given it 1 star and saying that think twice, if not 4 times. Again, there is one person who has given it 1 star and saying never purchase Samsung Fold phone. So now, whatever thought process I developed after reading the first reviews, now I am getting confused. So that's how our qualitative synthesis, it will go when you do the qualitative synthesis of the available studies. So the final, how will my final qualitative synthesis how will I think? So I will say that the Samsung Galaxy series is widely praised for its innovative design and multitasking capability and versatility of both as a phone and a tablet. But many users express that concerns about its durability, with reports of screen malfunctions, the physical breakdown within a year of use, and additionally, poor after-sale service and high cost raise doubts about its value for money. So while it excels in design and features, potential buyers should carefully consider the risk related to the durability and support. So if I read this, now definitely if I am too much for this innovations and multitasking, and if I need both phone and tablet, I might go for it. Or if I don't want to compromise on durability and screen malfunctions, then I won't go for it. So now, how to resolve such dilemma, that is the quantitative synthesis, which we will see today. Why it is written tomorrow? Because this we were supposed to take yesterday. That's why it is written tomorrow about today's. Okay, so there is a Zoom poll. Question number 7. You have to answer this question. Should I go? It is failed to launch. Okay, never mind. I think there is some issue with the launching of the poll. You can just see all systematic reviews would have a meta-analysis. Launched. Okay, it's launched now. You can answer. Okay, so yes, all of you have answered. No. 2. So we have seen this qualitative synthesis, data extracted. Okay. Now this is one way of saying, I'll show you that this is one qualitative synthesis where I'm only commenting on the year and country of studies. Okay, so can someone read this for me, for us? The first paragraph. Since I have a bad throat, probably that's why I'm taking help of you guys.
Can I read, ma'am?
Yeah, please.
May I read?
Yeah.
Sure. The other girl, please read that second paragraph. Mohit will read this.
Qualitative synthesis, year and country of sorry.
Oh, sorry. Let me move this.
Year and country of studies. The included studies spans over 2 decades from 1996 to 2018. reflecting a growing interest in the use of probiotics for managing acute diarrhea in children across diverse geographical regions. The majority of studies were conducted in middle-income countries with a focus on countries such as India, Turkey, and Thailand, where acute gastroenteritis and diarrheal illnesses are significant public health concerns. Other countries represented include Italy, Australia, Taiwan, Pakistan, and Bolivia.
Thank you. So, what have you understood from this paragraph? So, basically, the way we describe our individual study subject, isn't it appearing the same? Like, we describe the socio-demographic characteristics of study subjects. So, this is regarding the overall, if you have to describe the studies which you have included, the year probably where the study, in which year it was conducted, and the first three column like year and the country, and some value were studying the going through the individual study. In the introduction section, they give us the background regarding the disease. So through that, you can write that also, like background status of the disease, which we have not included in the column. But if you see the Cochrane, they always give this, like what is the background situation, because diarrhea may not be problem in the United States, but it may be a problem in Bangladesh and India. Similarly, if you are doing something called malaria, it may not be a problem very much in the developed country. They might have done something on immigrants or some like other aboriginal or some other people. But their original, whatever race is there, it might not be a problem for them. So similarly, if you write something in one column, what we have seen, what we did not do it for our article, but you should write that regarding the background, not exactly the disease burden, but whether it is a disease burden in the particular country or not. Okay, thank you, Dr. Mohit. Yes, the second paragraph.
Ma'am, may I read?
Please, Pallavi, thank you. You're always very helpful.
Thank you, ma'am. The distribution of study locations highlights a strong representation of Asian countries where the burden of diarrheal diseases in pediatric populations is particularly high. European and South American countries are less represented, though the inclusion of Italy and Bolivia provides some diversity in geographic settings. Notably, only one study was conducted in a high-income country, Australia, indicating a limited exploration of probiotics effects in regions with lower diarrheal incidence.
Yes, so thank you. So that's where you will see that there were diversity, because you are pooling the result definitely, but the population, it's quite diverse, seeing the Europe, the South America, and the countries like India and Asian countries also. So there's a quite diversity in the population, and that you have to emphasize that, because we'll see in the meta-analysis today, like because of these diversity, you will see there is a lot of heterogeneity in the studies because of the population. It's not the same population everywhere. Yes, one more, two more volunteer I need, like for first paragraph and other for the second paragraph.
Ma'am, can
Yes,
I do?
madam.
Yes, two people have said, Dr. Nitin, and there was one more. So you two
No,
people.
madam.
Saurabh. Okay, Saurabh and Dr. Nitin. So first one, this one, maybe Dr. Nitin can read, and then the second, Dr. Saurabh.
Qualitative synthesis study. The majority of included studies employed a randomized control trial design, ensuring rigorous methods to evaluate the efficacy of probiotic interventions in children with acute diarrhea. Most studies were single-blind or double-blind trials, minimizing bias and enhancing the validity of the findings. A few studies used multi-center designs, indicating a broader data collection across various clinical settings, which enhances the generalizability of the findings.
Okay, good. Thank you. So here I am taking, I'm going column by column. So now I am coming to the column. If you let me show you the data which we have extracted. This one. So if you see, you can start. There are people, I said that if you see the result, many people have done it author wise, means they start from one author Like they say that Alfredo et al. Has said this, and then they will come to Basu et al. This. So many people, many authors, we have seen that they go author-wise. But generally, we have seen in Cochrane that they describe the way we describe our result in the original study. So they go column-wise. So like they will see the range of the year of publication, then the country, then they will see them in majority what study design they have used. And then you can say like in majority they have used randomized control trial. Here you can see that one person has used this multi-center randomized control trial. Again, regarding the other this thing, you can write like what intervention, sample size also you can write range. So generally we write minimum and maximum, and then you can quote if there is a very huge study. So you can cite that this was the biggest study where there were maximum number of people they have included. And then you can cite regarding the setting. So you just have to see whatever you have entered and then go column wise. Pick up one column, then go to the next column setting, then go to the duration, then see the age group, that is the population characteristic, then gender, something like that. So take this overall as a column, and since here you have to do it qualitatively, since you cannot write that 50% of the data is like 50% of the studies were RCT and 25%. No need to give that much percentage and this thing. Only need like you can write majority or less than few study or only one, something like that. And if you feel you can merge these also, like what you can merge like year, country, these two you can merge, study design and sample size and setting you can merge. So not necessarily that each heading will be one paragraph. No, depending like we merge all these social demographic characteristics together, like socioeconomic status, the occupation, and then probably the income, gender. Similarly, you can merge similar looking, like you can do study population and PICOT, like population condition you can merge, intervention together you can merge, control or placebo you can merge. So similarly you can, depending on the way how you want to present your result. So now yes, there was another person, Saurabh was supposed to read the second,
Yes, madam.
this one.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon,
Um,
Dr. Saurabh.
Yes, I am starting, madam. Sample sizes across studies varied widely, ranging from 39 to 646 participants. The smaller studies under 100 participants generally focused on specific subpopulations or settings, while larger trials aim to capture broader outcomes and increase statistical power. The diversity in sample sizes suggests varying degrees of study power, with larger studies likely providing more reliable estimates of effect size.
Thank you, Dr. Saurabh. So you can see again, we are like telling this regarding the range of the participants, and then we know that if a study has got a more number of sample and sample size is more, definitely the power is more. So you can comment on that. Yes, similarly, two more volunteer, one for the first paragraph and the other for the second.
Can I read?
Please, Dr. Hari Prasad.
Okay, good afternoon, ma'am. So the majority of the studies were conducted in hospital settings, providing close monitoring and control over intervention, administration, and outcome measurement. A small number of trials extended to emergency care units and outpatient clinic, capturing a more diverse patient base and reflecting the real-world settings where acute area management outcomes.
Thank you. So you can just emphasize, like if it is a hospital-based, most of the study units were like hospital-based. So you can think that definitely the administration, because the outcome assessment. So usually in all those cases, a nurse was going and measuring the outcome. Had it been a community-based, then definitely the outcome measurement would not have been so accurate. But in emergency care units and outpatient, the setting is definitely different than the inpatient. So yes, you should keep these minds because when you will see the heterogeneity, all these qualitative synthesis which you have done, that will come into the role while you will write whether how you can explain, because we will see in the write-up tomorrow that Prisma has given a 27 page, 27 items, how to report it, how to report your systematic review finding. So in there, you will see that you need to comment on the under all these 4 headings. If there are heterogeneity, how you can explain that. You have to comment on the way or the conduction process of the systematic review. So on, we will discuss that tomorrow. So if you like do the write up like this will help you in reporting your systematic review. At the end, you have to like critically analyze your systematic review process. So it will help you in writing that paragraph also. Thank you, Dr. Hari. Yes, another volunteer.
Can I read, ma'am?
Please, Dr. Ravindran.
Study durations were typically short term, with most interventions lasting between 5 to 7 days, reflecting the acute nature of diarrheal diseases in children. Follow-up periods varied, but most studies aim to assess immediate effects of probiotics within a week of intervention, providing insights into the short-term efficacy of probiotics on diarrhea duration and symptom resolution.
Thank you. So you can see here that since we are commenting on the duration now, in that PICOT, in the assessment of outcome, now we are commenting on duration. So again, we are not saying that this is the only way of doing it. You can go back and read the systematic review and meta-analysis related to probiotics and diarrhea, and in every you will find there's a unique way of presentation. So it is up to you. If you think that, this is creating problem, then you can go author wise also. Individual author, and then you can give the result of the authors. Okay. Now coming to the outcome, which is the mean duration of diarrhea. Yes. Again, I need to volunteer. Yes.
Ma'am?
Yes,
Dr.
Dr.
Poonam. Yes.
Yeah.
The mean duration of diarrhea varied notably across studies, reflecting differences in probiotic strains, dosages, and patient populations. Most studies reported a reduction in diarrhea duration in probiotic groups compared to controls, with effects often observed within first 48 to 72 hours of administration. Probiotic interventions, particularly those involving Lactobacillus rhamnosus, Saccharomyces boulardii, and Lactobacillus reuteri, demonstrated a consistent ability to shorten the duration of diarrhea by 1 to 2 days on an average.
You only continue this second part also.
Some studies, such as those involving multi-species probiotics, showed even greater reductions, though the effect varied depending on the factors like baseline severity of the diarrhea and comorbidities. A few trials reported no significant difference in diarrhea duration between the probiotic and control groups, particularly in cases where the sample size was small or the baseline characteristics varied greatly. Overall, while results varied, the majority of the studies indicated that probiotic treatment was effective in reducing the mean duration of diarrhea in children, suggesting potential clinical benefits in acute diarrheal management.
Thank you. So then when you just closely, you will see the mean duration and the difference in the mean duration of diarrhea. Except for, I think, one study, everybody reported there is a decrease in the mean duration of diarrhea in intervention group. So then you have to find when you enter that result or when you are reading it, you should mention that as a remark that this is the study which is going differently than the other study. So this is the way you continue synthesizing the result qualitatively, and then you present it from this point of time. Now you have to see whether you go ahead with the meta-analysis or you cannot go with the meta-analysis. To decide that you have to conduct meta-analysis on whatever data you have, and then you have to decide, because although we know that there is a heterogeneity, a lot of heterogeneity, you need to the